Hello, hello. Welcome to this webinar today. I'm so excited to have everyone, and I want to say thank you for joining us. I want to especially welcome the participants on Zoom. Thank you. And also, I want to welcome those who are joining us on the live streams. So, we've got the live streaming on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So, special welcome to all of you joining us today. Thank you for dialing in, and I hope you find the webinar session and the conversation today very valuable and useful. All right, if you're not able to join us on Zoom, just go on to YouTube, and as you can see on my screen, go to YouTube and search for Waymaker Digital, and you can also search for Waymaker Digital page on Facebook, and you will be able to dial into the session and participate in the conversation today. So once again, thank you for dialing in and welcome to this webinar. Just a brief overview about myself. My name is Victor. I'm the founder and lead consultant at Waymaker Digital. I'm very passionate about leadership excellence. I'm passionate about digital innovation, and also I, as much as possible, try my best to solve complex problems with simple human-centric solutions. My work at Waymaker Digital involves leading service design with Waymaker Digital clients, user research and delivery management of cloud services, cybersecurity, ERP solutions, and enterprise agile adoption. You can check more about my work on my website, which is www.victorsunday.com. All right, so into the session today. The focus of our conversation today, I will do a brief overview of what we do about Waymaker Digital and what we do. We will talk about the fundamentals of user research, and I will make some announcement about upcoming events and some of our career coaching programs that we're launching in the digital technology space. And then we will talk about on becoming a user or UX researcher. And of course, we have a Q&A at the end of this session. Waymaker Digital, we provide project management, digital business consulting, and training services. Our focus is on enabling our clients to consistently innovate, thrive, and meet their customer needs. So our delivery services include things like product mapping, user research, business analysis, and requirements definition. We also do things like change management, digital marketing, and campaign management. So if you have anything along any of your requirements or business needs that cut across service design, blueprinting, project delivery to time, budget, and quality, please do give us a call or reach out to our client support team with the details on the screen. Technology solutions we provide include ERP systems like Dynamics, Salesforce, SAP, and Oracle, cloud services like Azure, Amazon Web Services, etc. So our approach is purely to do a discovery first, and then to understand what the problem is, the business environment, what the goals are. Then we move into design and to development, of course, and to delivery. So yeah, please don't hesitate, get in touch. And the event today is, of course, powered by Waymaker Digital. Some of the partners we work with, we are a G Cloud supplier, approved G Cloud supplier by the Cabinet Office. We also work with Microsoft solutions. So we're in the Microsoft Partner Network. One of our vendors and partners is IT Pro TV for our training content, virtual labs for our candidates, and of course, practice test for certification exams around cybersecurity, Azure, and etc. We use Amazon Web Services and HubSpot CRM, and we are also a Scrum Study authorized education provider. So please get in touch, and somebody will definitely be able to take your requirements and work with you. The objective of today's session will cover the fundamentals of user research. That is, what is user research, especially for the benefit of those who are entirely new to the concept or the idea of user research. We will touch on the value that user researchers bring into the software development lifecycle, into product management. And then, of course, we'll talk about the career entry routes or options to becoming a user researcher. Okay. Towards the middle of the session, I will also announce some of the options, career coaching options that we provide to help people who want to become user researchers. So let's dive into the conversation today. We will talk about the fundamentals of user research to start with. I think it's a better place to kick off the conversation today. So Mike Kuniewski puts user research as the process of understanding the impact of design on an audience, i.e., user research is used to understand the user's needs, their behaviors, their experiences, and their motivations, their pain points, through different methods, such as qualitative and quantitative methods. User research helps to uncover important and useful insights about the user and their needs. It's important to know that until you know your user and the needs of your users, their emotions, their feelings, their struggles, etc., you wouldn't be able to deliver a great user experience with your product or your service, right? User research is also interchangeably used to, such as you can say UX research. Some people say user experience research or design research is all talking about the same discipline or the same practice. It's about finding insights to guide successful designs. When you do UX research, you're better able to give your users the best solutions because you can discover exactly what exactly they need. You can apply research at any stage of your design process. You can start with, UX researchers usually or often start with qualitative measures, and then they might use quantitative measures to test those results they get from their qualitative research. You must take a structured approach when you're doing research, so that when you gather data from your users, it's vital to use measures that are right for the purpose of your research, so that you can get the clearest information. Okay, and then of course you would have to interpret your research findings so you can build insight that would inform your product or your service design. Talking about why the reason why we do user research, I'm going to walk the board. If you can see on the screen, I'm going to walk from the right to the left. We'll talk about the benefits of the user first, yeah, because it all starts with the user. The user benefits of user research is such that you are able to provide great user experience, yeah, with user research, because your feedback is unbiased, yeah. You speak the user's thought without any influence or bias from any outside authority. Okay, from a business perspective, by knowing the end users and incorporating their requirements into the design process upfront, the business can speed up the product development process. They can eliminate redesign cost and increase user satisfaction. From a product perspective, user research helps to provide data about the end user of the product, how they use the product, and the main challenges they have with using the product. It's helpful when a team has to decide between multiple design solutions. One thing to bear in mind is that empathy is at the heart of design. Without understanding of what others see, feel, experience, there is no point doing design. Yeah, that's a quote from Tim Brown, the CEO of IDEO. It's important to perform user research before you start designing your website or product, because it will help you to create designs that are truly relevant to your users. You can understand how your users actually perform the tasks that they go that achieve their goals or perform their tasks, and you'll be able to create designs that are easy and pleasurable to use. Okay, you will get a better understanding of your users' mental model. Okay, you understand what kind of features to prioritize in your design process. Okay, you understand what kind of features not to prioritize. So there's a lot of those are the reasons why we do user research. Speaking about types of research, there are two main types or two main methods of user research. Um, there's quantitative and there is the qualitative research. Quantitative research is primarily exploratory research. You use this to quantify the problem by way of creating numerical information or data that can be transformed into usable insights or statistics or information. So, for example, you can use data collection methods like online surveys, paper surveys, mobile surveys, or kiosk studies. You can use online polls, or observations. This form of research pretty much you may include analytics like Google Analytics is part of one of the tools that help you to interpret data, for example, on how people are visiting your site, where they are coming from, and you can use Google Data Studio as well, which is a powerful data visualization tool. Google Optimize is another very good tool as part of quantitative research that you can use for running and performing alpha beta testing. Quantitative data from analytics platform should really be balanced with qualitative insights as well, because you want to make sure that the analytical data give you patterns that may be useful for deciding what assumptions you would like to test further. Qualitative research, on the other side, is the direct assessment of behavior based on observation. So you basically carry out research about understanding people's beliefs, their practices on their own terms. Yeah, it can involve things like contextual observation, ethnographic studies, interviews, field studies, and of course usability tests. All right. At this junction, I will stop here and I will make some announcement about upcoming events and some career coaching programs that Waymaker Digital are launching, and I'm really excited about this. The team have been doing some really great work in making sure that these programs are available and accessible as quickly as possible. So the first one is the user research masterclass. Yeah, our tutor for this program is Zelda Koidema, and she is a professor and a psychologist, and of course an expert user research. The program is a 3 days intensive coaching of 4 hours with breaks in between, of course, and practical activities. Participants will have access to lifetime coaching videos, online community, and access to training materials. You would also be able to, as part of the program, build a portfolio. You develop a portfolio for your own client references and for your job references. We would also give you support for interview preparation. You would optionally have opportunity to participate in a project work experience, which is a 3 months internship, unpaid, of course. Another benefit is that you have work references available when you need it, and then you have the opportunity to have a one-to-one mentoring session with our tutor. That is paid, of course, separately. Then you can have CV branding and LinkedIn review to position yourself and give yourself that oomph that you need to make that career change. That's a separately paid product, and one big add-on from Waymaker Digital is the access to our agile and product management online training resources, videos, tools, and materials as an add-on to this user research masterclass. So please, if you want to get involved in this, get in touch, and you will be provided with more information. Moving on, the next program, career change program we're launching is the Data Analytics Bootcamp. This is another one that is going to help to expose you to typical data analytics project lifecycle. You would be using, we are focusing mainly on Power BI and Google Data Studio. You would have access through interactive lab sessions and discussions. And after this, you'll be able to, after this training or this coaching program, you would be able to, you'll be ready to build and deploy customized dashboards and reports using Google Data Studio and Power BI. In terms of the structure of the program, it's also 3 days, 3 Saturdays, intensive coaching of 6 hours with breaks on Google Data Studio and Power BI. You're going to have access to lifetime coaching, videos, and online community for immediate support on the job or as part of your interview preparation. You would have access to, you'll be able to develop your portfolio during the coaching program so that you can then begin to use those for references for your freelancing or for your new job application. Work references are available on request. And of course, we would have CV branding and LinkedIn review paid separately, one-to-one mentoring, as I mentioned before. And yes, we're also giving out our bonus add-on, which is access to the Agile and Product Management online training resources, the videos, the tools, and all the materials as part of this boot camp. So this boot camp kicks off in November. So if you want to be a part of it, absolutely get in touch, and we will be able to furnish you with more information. Moving on, the next event is on the discipline of data lifecycle management. Absolutely, yes, we are having this event on Zoom, another webinar. So look out for this. If you check out our website or check on LinkedIn, on Facebook, you'll be able to sign up for this webinar, another webinar on a Saturday. There are webinars actually every Saturday in the month of October 2020. The next webinar is also on user research, which is on the 24th of October. We'll be talking about the government digital service. So we're exploring the government digital service. If you're trying to work in any government department or local council department across the UK, you need to be a part of this webinar, because we will be breaking down what it is to work in the government digital service. I'll be talking about things like the service standards, talking about the delivery cycle, and all the stuff that come with being able to work with the government. Okay, and finally, we have a webinar on the 31st of October, which is on data visualization for effective business decision. So this is another powerful webinar that we will be running this month of October. If you're thinking of how to change career and work in the space of being a data analyst or data analytics professional, or on working as a business intelligence consultant or business intelligence analyst, this absolutely will help you. And of course, this is more like a runner-up to our data analytics bootcamp starting in the month of November. Yes, so that's it. All the announcements done. Let's move on. Back to user research. The question I want to answer next is, what happens when user research is not done properly? When user research is not done, we've talked about why do we perform user research. We've talked about the importance of user research, the value, the benefits of user research. Now the question is, if we don't perform user research, or if we don't carry out user research properly, what happens? Yes, you guessed right. You can see an angry man on my screen. What this is the price. Yeah, this is the price. Potentially, what might be the price of not doing a proper user research? The product or the service has great features that does not solve the user's problem. They're trying to achieve a goal. They're trying to, do something, but your product does not solve that problem for them. The product is also potentially will not be user friendly, because you would have made a lot of false assumptions in your design process, and they are baked already into the form and function of the product. Yeah. And of course, the product will create confusion for the user. Oh, what could be the price of not doing proper user research is that the product can cause a lot of confusion for your user when they start engaging with the product. So it's important that you make your team and your organization or your company aware of the implications of not doing proper user research, because it means that if you are able to convince them to do proper user research, you will be saving time, saving money, saving effort in the long run, because you are going to be building a product that actually serves the needs of your users, your customers. Okay. It's important as part of research to define your research goals. Yeah, what exactly are we testing? This is to create something we call a discussion guide or research plan, which is a set of questions and assumptions about realistic prototype to test or realistic research area to focus on. Who are the people that we are researching with? How do we recruit participants? Do we have existing customers, or are we looking at prospective users or customers? And how are we going to test? What research method are we going to adopt? Are we looking at quantitative methods or qualitative methods? What stage are we in at the process? What problem are we trying to solve? Who are we trying to solve the problem for? How are we going to go about the research? These are the things that we define as part of coming up with our user research plan. In the next slide, I want to talk about some techniques of user research. This cuts across, of course, qualitative and quantitative methods, but I think if it's important I kind of just mention this because it will give you some insight or some information to go away with to further research and read about on what exactly these techniques are. The first one is user groups, or we call focus groups. Yeah. So as part of user research, this is a moderated discussion with a group of users. You allow to learn about their attitudes, their ideas, their desires. You have a focused conversation with this group of people who represent a sample representation of your customers or your ideal users. Okay. The next one on the screen is usability testing. Usability testing is purely to identify the frustrations and the problems with your product or your website through one-on-one sessions where you carry out a real life exercise with a real life user. They perform the task on your site or on your product, and then you observe and you ask questions or you take note and you learn, you take information from that research exercise. The next one is individual user interviews. This is a one-on-one discussion with users to show you how a particular user works. They enable you to get detailed information about a user's attitude, their desires, and of course, their experiences as well. Online surveys is a series of questions, of course, that you can ask to multiple users of your service, of your website, or your product. Basically, they help you to learn about, people who visit your site. Yeah, you learn about them, you understand what exactly their experiences are, and they give you information that you can track or measure in terms of like the feedback or performance. And the last one is card sorting. These card sorting exercises are carried out to allow users to basically group information together in a way that will make sense to them on their own terms. So it helps you to ensure that your site structure, your information architecture, it matches the way your users think or your users expect your product or your service or your website to work. Okay. Before we talk about user researchers and what they do, it's important to mention that user research is a team sport. It's important to get your stakeholder and your team buy-in. So when you're doing user research for a project or a product, you want to make sure that you share the insights from research with your team, because if it's not shared with your team, then no amount of research will be sufficient to inform your product design. Okay, so you want to include and engage your team in the research, and it may be difficult to get your stakeholders to buy into it. User researchers, you would have, as a user researcher, you would work with product managers, you could work with data scientists, developers, engineers, and other stakeholders. But within your team, people have different viewpoints and priorities. But if everybody is engaged and involved in research, you can engage them by, for example, getting your team members to take notes as you're conducting user interviews. You can hold workshops with your team, sessions with your team, to analyze and sort through data from research. Okay, you can engage your team by sharing your findings with them as well. The good thing is, when you invite your team and stakeholders to participate and play a part in the user research exercise, you create a shared understanding of the user needs. You make it much easier to work towards the same goal as a team, which is to create a solution or a product that addresses the needs of the user. You invite your team, by inviting your team to participate, you create a shared understanding of the pain points and the challenges of your users. Let's talk about what user researchers do, really. Yeah, I think that's the core of the conversation today. User researchers are people who analyze actual consumer or customer behavior, and they form data-driven insights to address the needs of these consumers. User researchers basically replace the guesswork, about product design, because they bring learned insight from research activity, and they collaborate with the product design team in order to turn these insights into actionable, consumer-focused results that resonate with the intended audience or the users of the product. Okay. User researchers are able to carry out and conduct in-depth and advanced research, both in qualitative and quantitative methods. Yeah, as a user researcher, it's important to be able to understand the objectives of the research, what type of research method, combination of approaches that you will use depending on the scenario or the problem or the audience that you're trying to understand or research with. Okay. In terms of becoming a user researcher, user research or UX research, like I said, or design research, I've explained the words could be used interchangeably most times, is relatively a growing field, but you don't need a specific degree to be a user researcher. But it's important to have some experience within digital technology or an understanding of people's behavior. So you will find a lot of people do research. They have common backgrounds in things like, but not limited to things like psychology area, disciplines like psychology, anthropology, sociology, marketing, communications, information analysts, so business analysts who are focused on requirements, solicitation, and design. They are people who are good candidates to become user researchers, because then they switch their heart from focusing on a system or focusing on a solution, and focus on the user. So they have to switch and become unbiased and speak for the user. Think from an empathetic point of view. If you're wondering how you can get into user research, I think it's important to read about the field as much as possible. You can sign up to the user research masterclass that Waymaker offers. Also, it's important to know, for example, as well, that you need to have a good understanding of analytics. So understand the design process as a whole. These are the things that you will learn when you join the bootcamp. You would also need to have some soft skills like adaptability, understanding human behavior, and understanding of will and a willingness to collaborate and work with others. A user research degree is actually non-existent. There's nothing like that. So the best way, or the ideal, the most feasible way to break into this field is to immerse yourself in it. I'm going to share some tips from experience that I believe could help somebody who wants to become or who wants to get into the field of working as a user researcher. Once you have a firm understanding of what it means to be a user researcher, try to talk to people in the field. You can engage with people who are already user researchers or join communities of researchers or designers, and you'll be able to understand a bit more about it. So networking is one of the best ways to land a new job in this space. If you're employed and your company has a user research team, you can check with them and see if you can sit down with them and talk to you. Ask if you can join one of the moderated sessions or take notes for them. If your company does not have a user research team, you could speak to your design team or your market research team or your marketing team and ask if you can shadow them on one of their upcoming research projects. Another option is you can contact local universities that carry out user research or applied research, or discuss about volunteering with them so that you can gain some experience, real life experience in that way. Another way is to get an internship. So for example, as part of the user research masterclass that we are providing, we have an option for participants to get a 3 months or 6 months internship with Waymaker Digital. Similar to an internship, you can do shadowing, you can volunteer to help other researchers, and this will give you experience that you can use to build your own portfolio to show prospective employers in the future. So basically, observation, understanding, and analysis are the 3 key skills or methods employed by user researchers, and this can be done via face-to-face or even interviews or online service and usability testing. All right, so that's all that we have to cover today. I think it's time to take some questions and answers.